All right, it is my pleasure to introduce Joseph Mesa, our digital curriculum coordinator with CIPD, and he will be sharing about Elementary Digital Safety Awareness Month today. And Joseph.
All right, hello everyone. Hope you're having a good afternoon and everything's going well. Do you want me to control the slides, Matthew, or do you want to do it?
If you just want to say next, I'll go to the next slide.
Okay, next is good. So October is Digital Safety Awareness Month, our second annual, woohoo, which also coincides with, okay, correct me if I get this wrong, Matthew, cyber security awareness month, something like that.
Yes,
The national name, how that's branded. So we started that this year. So this is our second annual at Modesto City Schools, but it's many annual nationwide. And basically what we're doing at the TK-6 level is the computer literacy teachers are providing instruction during the month of October. It'll be 2 half-hour sessions, and there is a menu for them to choose from with what they want to do, what they would like to present to the students. And I'll go over some of those in a little bit. So there is a web-based student interactive slideshow, which is a hyperdoc, which is something I have always been very interested in implementing, but not nearly enough opportunities to do it. So we have a link that is appropriate for 3rd through 6th graders, not because of the content, but because of the lexile level. If they were going through it to be able to decode the text. So on the students' app portal, they have an icon which says Computer Lab, and there's one for every grade level. And we push out the content. It could be the practice or the materials that they're supposed to get or whatever out each week, so the students automatically have it on their app portal. So the link to the interactive slideshow, the hyperdoc, is on the portal for the month for students 3rd through 6th grade. For TK through 2nd, the teachers do have the presentation, and I'm recommending that they do it as direct instruction and go through it with the kids rather than assigning it to the kids because they are not going to be able to read it. So that's one choice, and that's a new item to this year. Another thing that they have is the Nearpod lesson series. So I've gone through all of the Common Sense Media Nearpod lessons and sort of done a scope and sequence of what that might look like, which are good to present, which have maybe a little bit more controversial topics, and you might want to avoid those. So I've already mapped that out for the teachers with my recommendations for what they could present. And then some of the CLTs have already developed their own materials, like digital handbooks and whatnot, that are hyperdocs specific to what they're doing, what they've got at the site, sort of the rules and the procedures and whatnot for their computer lab and all of that. Okay, next slide. Next. There you go. So it is web-based, the interactive slideshow. It can be both ways. It can be straight launch web-based, so it acts like a website, or it can just be a hyperdoc that is shared with people and students, and they are able to just put it in present mode and go through. This is the web-based version right here. All of the buttons work, navigate, all of that. I really wanted to build it up and do sort of the bells and whistles that you can put into a HyperDoc. So they're sort of some of the fundamentals of a HyperDoc is student choice, interactivity, lots of stimulus items throughout it. Usually a way for students to create or edit work within the document. You don't need to click on any of the buttons or anything, Matthew, but they all work. I will plunk a link for that if some of you want to take a look at it in the chat. Let me post that in the announcements so you have it. Hold on. Give me one moment. It doesn't like to do copy and paste in the announcements, Matthew. Do you know the reason for that?
I do not, but
does it restrict it?
it's like using the keyboard shortcut.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes. For some reason, it did not want me to do it. Okay, so I put a link for it in the published chat. And feel free to use that, teachers, if you want to include it, even if you just want to look through it and get some ideas of what you might be able to do with a HyperDoc with your class. So next slide, Matthew. I'll kind of go over some of the specific. So there are 4 main ideas, and these are the same ones from last year that we decided in our planning committee that we would cover. And these are just put into kid-friendly terms, and this is straight off the website, that they'll learn about password security, online safety, and I have 4 rules for online safety that we cover. Showing respect online, that digital citizenship piece, and the rules for computer use. And the rules for computer use actually come from the Modesto City Schools rules for computer use. Like you won't download banned content, you won't post banned content, no cyberbullying, fair use and copyright, all of those things that are in the conduct code are in there. Although it's in much friendlier kid language, so it's appropriate for TK through 6th grade. So that's what that piece looks like. What do I have another slide in there too, Matthew? No. So yeah, that one. That's the icon. Did you want to go to the site and we'll kind of walk through it, Matthew?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So the arrows all work. If you notice, those were the 4 areas that I just went over at the bottom, so you can navigate straight to those. So you can just navigate with the arrows, though. Go the next arrow. There you go. And in the next arrow, it shows them how to use a slideshow, what the buttons do. Next. Then it goes over passwords. Next. And this is because, remember, this is for very young kids, so it's going through that vocabulary development, particularly for our second language learners, having pictures of what it is, having, can you go one more? There's an example, and maybe, I think it's maybe one more. There's a video. There's also a comparison in there, like your password is like a key to get through a locked door. You know, there's lots of that. It has, go back one. So it has a question and it's self-correcting. Choose one of the wrong ones. So nice try, and it sends you back to the question until you get it right. That's all just built in with links in the HyperDoc. Not terribly complicated to do, because you can build in a link and tell it to go anywhere, and that, wrong answer is just going to the same slide, and you have to get the correct answer until you get the ability to go forward to the next slide in the slideshow in the HyperDoc. So it has video stimulus. It has times to stop and sort of talk with a partner and whatnot. So that's a good way for kids to get interested in it, and as a sort of a side effect, see the power of Google Slideshows and what you might create. We haven't taught that Google Suite yet, so all of that is just directly in Slideshow. So there's a lot of ability to make a really great product in Slideshows. Let's see if there's any questions. Nope. All right. Well, that's all I have on the elementary piece. If you have any questions, you can plunk them in the chat, and we can either get it now or during the Q&A, whenever you like. But you've got the link to that, so you basically have a template of it if you wanted to create something similar. See how I did it once you open it up. That's all I have, Matthew, on my piece.
Thank you, Joseph.
Sure.
All right, I like to share with you for our secondary what we're doing. It's the ISTA for 712 students, Internet Safety Tutorial and Agreement. The ISTA is completed every school year by every student that's within grades 7 through 12, except for special ed and Language Institute students. But all students in 712 are required to take the ISTA every school year. Students complete the ISTA within their MCS app portal. It's listed with the app that you see here on this slide. So the students log in to MCS app portal. They find the internet safety app that you see in this image. It's labeled as ISTA for 712. They can do this on any computer that has internet access, so they can do it on their student Chromebook laptop. They can do it on a personal device as long as it has internet connection. So they just need to log in MCS app portal and click on that app, and then they can take it. What the ISTA will be is about a 14-minute video that they'll go over several different topics. The topics include strong passwords, phishing and online safety, copyright and giving credit, online meeting etiquette, cyberbullying, and digital footprint and posting are some of those topics. So there's a 14-minute video on those topics. Then it's followed with a 10-question quiz, and they do have to complete all 10 questions correctly. It does include immediate feedback, so it does help the student know what the correct answer would be to recorrect it. So they watch a 14-minute video, do that 10-question quiz, and that's followed up by the student technology use policy that they click accept to agree it, and that's what completes the ISTA. So they do need to do all three parts. It takes about 20 minutes altogether. So a student just watching the video doesn't complete the ISTA for them. It's watching the video, complete all 10 questions, and clicking accept to the technology use policy after they reviewed it. Will be what the ISTA is all about. So there's lots of really great digital citizen topics within the ISTA. Different school sites roll it out in different ways. Sometimes they might roll it out on a certain day as a goal for the school site, maybe on a Wednesday collab day. Other sites might assign it to all the social science classes or all the ELA classes for those teachers to roll out the ISTA. So each school site can choose how they're going to roll out the ISTA and for the students to take it. But definitely encourage your students to complete the ISTA by the end of October 31st.